teams, get ready to go. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Stating your opinion, are you serious, bro? Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Talking about some wrestling for just a little bit. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Tagged explicit so we can say shit. Fucking shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo. Fight for your life, wait, not your life just for a prize. There is no prize, just fucking fight. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo, shoot, promo. I shot the promo, but I do not shoot the deputy. Shoot, promo, shoot.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in internet land. Welcome to another edition of Shoot Promo, the only wrestling game show in the world. I'm your host, Red Reddington, suffering from a little bit of a throat infection this week, so if I die, I'll be sure to let you know. We have another two teams of three wrestling fanatics ready to dissect, discuss, and dilute the past week of wrestling. So let's have a look at this week's teams. This week's Team A have called themselves the Spice Boys, which consist of the always slightly naked OmegaBR.
I'll let it be known that my teammates chose that name. I had nothing to do with it.
He's fully on their side. And he's accompanied this week by two newbies, so potential jobbers here. But let's try and get them over. First off, we have Mr. DoctorDuckTape.
Hello, and as an Irish person, I'd like to apologise profusely for Hornswoggle.
Apology accepted. I just noticed that your initials make DDT, so that's quite cool. And we're joined by the man.
I agree.
What the hell?
JP is fucking up. Okay. We have the man who does not have his own personal ring announcer. It's Mr. NotRicoRodriguez. Oh, sorry, it's not Rico.
What is Mark Haskins' twin brother Jim Tesco doing in the Impact Zone? Mick, you worthless piece of crap.
And taking them on this week are the team which have called themselves Boku no Epico. I'm going to warn you now, do not Google that. Don't do it.
Please don't.
Led by this week's only woman in Shoot Promo history. She has a vagina. It's Punker.
Because the show is an hour, it'll definitely have to last longer than leadership on Russell Chan.
She's joined by this week's newcomer. It's Mr. Trippy.
It's always been a fantasy of mine to be a contestant on Shoot Promo, with my team being one girl and one boy, making one laugh as the other making jokes and vice versa.
Brilliant.
And of course, the always minty fresh Mintzs.
The first rule of the Thesaurus Club is you don't talk about, mention, speak of, discuss, or chat about Thesaurus Club.
Okay, JP has timed out, so that's good news for everyone. So let's get into the rules. One more thing before we get into the rules. I should explain that we do have this week's studio audience, which last week scored 8 points. They're here as a whole to boo, cheer, or chant, we want Zack Ryder, we want Undertaker, we want everyone, or just generally be a New York crowd. Hello, studio audience!
Hello.
Hello.
What bounties and makes kids cry? My donation check to children in need.
Oh,
Jesus.
and your mic is cutting out again.
Hey.
JP, just stop. Just stop. Okay, the teams will attempt to answer questions about this past week in wrestling, as well as taking part in some more improvisational rounds. Along the way, they'll be awarded points for being funny, positive, and original, whilst having points deducted for moaning, groaning, and making sweeping generalized statements. Points will be awarded and deducted with accompanying sounds. For example, if a team says something funny, they'll be awarded 1 point, and we'll hear this noise. If they say something funnier, they'll be awarded 2 points, which sounds like this. Oh no. There we go. And if they say something hilarious, they'll be awarded 3 points, which sounds like this. On the other hand, if they start drifting too far off topic or say something terribly unfunny, I'll deduct points, which sounds like this. So, seeing as we don't have 3 hours to fill with pointless segments, we should probably start off this week with winners and losers, which this opening round allows the panel to open up with an early lead. for their team by each of them telling us who they feel were this week's biggest winners and or losers. For example, you could say this week's biggest loser was Jonah Hill, who despite being advertised was nowhere to be seen this week on Monday Night Raw. You could also say that this week's biggest winner was Jonah Hill because we have heard rumors that Moses Mountain will be debuting in the Impact Zone next week, you selfish prick. So that being said, and me just realizing that we forgot to change the intro for this round, who do you believe are this week's biggest winners and or losers? Let's go to OmegaBR first. Start us off, your winners and or losers.
Well, usually I have a witty thing to say, but this week I pretty much have to go with the cliched answers. This week's winner is obviously The Rock because, he proved that after 7 years he could come back and sell out Madison Square Garden, and, he's a big movie star now. He had a lot of roles to turn down to be able to do this. For example, he got offered a role in Steven Spielberg's new E.T. 2, Payback. And the tagline, of course, when he phones home, you take it to the dome. And, he just doesn't want to do that kind of movie anymore. Peter Jackson, I heard, offered him a role in his new gritty, war-torn adaptation of the classic children's book, Babar. Of course, that might have had something to do with it being filmed in Myanmar. But anyway, we all know where he was on Monday night, and I heard that's because he got offered the role of a lifetime, that being the 2011 remake of Daddy Daycare. And, if I seem kind of somber, it's because, this week's loser, of course, is Mr. Matthew Ruxio Hardy, who was kicked out of rehab after failing a sobriety test, which he claims was because he used an alcohol-based mouthwash. And, you make so many jokes about this guy. It really is sad. I really feel bad for him, especially considering, he had those amaretto chocolates without incident. It's not like they came up in a sobriety test, and that Irish coffee, and that vermicelli that had the vodka's tomato sauce, and the bananas Foster that was flambéed, the bourbon glazed ham, the sparkling champagne grapes, the tequila soaked taquitos, the Kahlua cake, the whiskey battered waffles, the beer battered wings, the beer battered fish, beer battered sausage, beer battered chicken, beer canned chicken, beer brisket, beer steak, beer soup, beer barbecue ribs, beer infused chili, coconut beer shrimp, beer braised rabbit, pork chops marinated in beer, oysters Rockefeller with beer in them, those several hot dogs that fell into the beer stein when the waitress slipped, but he ate them anyway, and that spaghetti with scotch.
I'm just impressed with how many foods you could list with alcohol in them. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the other team captain. Let's go to Punker. Your winners and or losers this week.
Well, unfortunately, OmegaBR took the same winner as I did because really I was struggling to get through Survivor Series myself, but when I saw the main event and Rock was actually impressing me in the ring, it was like a technical clinic almost for me, at least. And after 7 years of not doing so much of that, I was like, wow, why is he not still with us? And unfortunately, this week's losers is all generalized, but I have to say the whole Latino race, because Sin Cara has proven that we all have a weakness in our knees. Trip, arrive, botch, left knee, done.
Yeah, it just seems to be that Mexicans have a thing for the left knee. It's great.
It's like a rock paper scissors. Brock Lesnar, Mexicans, left knee.
Okay, 2 points for the audience there. Thank you very much,
Brilliant,
man.
thank you.
It was great stuff there. Let's go over back to DoctorDuckTape. Your winners and or losers this week.
Well, since OmegaBR also stole my winners and losers, I'm going to have to think fast. My winner this week is going to be Zack Ryder, simply because the guy can get cheered over the fucking Rock in Madison Square Garden during Rock's return night. So you know he's going to be big. Led to the Rock saying some not PG stuff, which showed up on their website, ironically. Quite hard to think on my feet. My loser this week is going to be R-Truth, simply because biggest push of his life, and he got suspended for doing synthetic marijuana, whatever the hell that is. Further, it basically just explains his entire character for the past 6 or 7 months or so. And that's all I've got.
Damn conspiracy. Okay, let's go over to Trippy, your winners and or losers for this week.
Alright, because it seems that Omega started a trend in stealing everyone's pick. I guess my pick for, well, loser this week would have to be DoctorDuckTape, because after all that hype, he still has not debuted on Monday Night Raw, and if this keeps going on, he probably won't debut for Monday Night Raw for a while to come yet. However, at the same time, my winner this week has got to be DoctorDuckTape, because he's probably getting paid to do absolutely fuck all, just show up, do a couple of video packages, and then he gets to stay at home. What a wonderful job.
He's like the Scott Hall of this year. Let's float back over. Let's go to NotRico, your winners and or losers for this week.
Well, one of my winners for this week has to be Cody Rhodes. Due to the fact that he has new music, he's lost his mask, and he's overcame the odds of being hideous. Also, one of my winners has to be Wade Barrett, due to him being the last man standing on the Survivor Series elimination match. Turning to Randy Orton at the end of last week's SmackDown, just delivering the wasteland to Kofi Kingston. You can clearly tell he's on the tip of a main event push. Loser this week, Kofi Kingston, due to the fact that he's just been on a constant losing streak, and he's clearly taking the brunt of Evan Bourne's induction into the Spice Girls. Brodus Clay, another loser. He's still not debuted. I think interest is just starting to decline. Will he debut? Probably not. And R-Truth, in the Evan Bourne vein, has also become suspended due to Spice. And he's basically, as I think it was Trippy or DoctorDuckTape said, I wasn't paying attention. He's just blew his biggest push that he's received since he won the United States Championship, and probably the most entertaining heel of this year. He's gone.
It is a sad shame. Well, you know, at least
Brodus
he's riding
Clay
it.
was the anonymous general manager.
Hey, but you have to, if he's going to forget about storylines, that's one we have to completely forget and bury under the soil. Let's go finally to
Better call Triple H then.
Let's go to Mintzs for our final winners and or losers for this week. Mintzs.
Winners this week would probably be fans everywhere since Sin Cara is out again. Unfortunately, Sin Cara's career's on the ropes. Too bad he'll literally not go over it. Mark Henry's t-shirt is going to be eventually selling out. So, much like the book about Marilyn McCann, better get it before it's gone. Actually, if you're talking about Spice, I think they've actually been watching too much Dune between them all, because, you know, I control the space, I control the universe, or the WWE universe.
Too many references for me to deal with there. Okay, let's have a look at the scores after that opening round. Quite astonishingly, probably because of the list that was akin to Jericho's armbar list of alcoholic beverages and snacks. OmegaBR's team, the Spice Boys, are ahead with 23 points, just behind our Boku new Epico. No Epico with 14 points. I'm going to struggle saying that name the whole time. So let's move into this week's WWE round, which is all about fun. So team captains, who have you elected to be your director of fun? Let's go to Punker. Who have you chosen to answer a question about fun?
Well, Minty is a funny guy, so I'm going to send Mintzs out.
It's going to be Mintzs, okay? And Omega, who have you chosen for your from the Spice Boys to be your fun-loving Spice Boy?
Well, I'm going to have to go with NotRico.
NotRico is Fun Spice. Okay, let's have a look at this week's question. At Survivor Series this past Sunday, CM Punk finally won the WWE Championship for the second time. An elated Punk claimed that if he won the title, he'd be making the belt more fun. So far, there hasn't been much of a change, but we know that plans are always, subject to change, and that fun could be right around the corner. So before it happens, what are some of the ways that CM Punk could make the WWE Championship more fun? both in a physical sense and in terms of the actual matches. So how can the WWE Championship be made more fun? Let's go to Mintzs first, making the WWE Championship more fun.
So, if you think about it from this perspective, they could make a lot of money. Bring in the WWE Universe. Could have CM Punk as, you know, the brand new host of the show, and you get 2 children. Well, actually, you get 4. You can do it in teams, 2 and 2, and they can now play the WWE Funhouse, where, much like all your older American programs with the gunge, you can have it all set out throughout backstage. Like, you could have Vince McMahon's office. Even for the older people, you could get, you know, Commissioner Regal's, all the WrestleMania backgrounds and such. Then, once they progress through everything and they get to the part where it's the go-kart round, screw the go-karts. Why don't we get John Cena's muscle cars and just let them drive around the parking lot? And then at the end, once all the smoke is cleared and the dust is settled and there's 2 people left at the end, why don't we let them battle it out for the WWE title? Of course it's going to be a replica, but still, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I have to say, I would give you an extra bonus point for Funhouse, but we do have some Americans on the show, and they might not. They might see that be, you know, looking on it unfavourably.
How would you make it then? Would it be fun apartment, fun abode?
Bouncy castle.
Yeah, an extra point for that.
Fun
Okay.
repossessed home.
Alex Riley better not. At IDBC, Alex Riley better not be driving the go-karts. I can only imagine if Nick Hogan was on the show.
All right, an extra 2 points. Now, shush, let not Rico have a go. Not Rico. Following up from Mintzs, how would you make the WWE title more fun?
Alright, well, CM Punk said he was going to make the championship more fun, so what he will do is he will add an ice cream bar spinner design, which in the middle has a spinning popsicle that he can use as a weapon. So someone's lying on the floor, takes the belt up to him, presses the button, and this popsicle stick starts spinning around. And then at the next pay-per-view, he will host the Ball Pool Invitational. The object being how many balls? I can't do it.
Everything.
Swerveface can finish.
WWE presents WWE Bouncy Castle with the ball pit inside. See all the superstars playing with balls of different colors and having a battle royale to declare the next WWE World Champion.
Swerve, you are our John Laurinaitis.
I'm just going to skip that one, and when the
Thank you.
WWE Network launches, there will be a show entitled "Get Your Own Back," where wrestlers have their own sons on, and they think what matches they didn't perform well in, either from a technical perspective or a booking perspective. At the end, the loser is treated to a D-push. You can just imagine R-Truth going up the ladder and being, "I'm afraid of ladders," and he gets pushed down into the gunge and proceeds to be never seen on television again.
I was just wondering if Sandman and his son would turn up on the show. Probably not.
Awesome.
Well, would you rather have Scott Hall and his son turn up on the show? I don't think so.
Okay, a lot of British cult references there, so if you're American, I apologise, but then again, you're American, so not really saying much. Let's have a look at the scores after that round. Jumping ahead with 28 points are the Spice Boys, but slightly behind with 23 points, closing the gap a bit. Boku no Epico. I'm going to still struggle saying that as we move on to our next round, which is our free-for-all round, which is the Wrestling Gazette. This week, the Wrestling Gazette is the only newspaper, of course, that's dedicated to all things sports entertainment. The paper this week comes with a pull-out puzzle section, including an ROH roster Spot the Difference, Scott Steiner's Sudoku puzzle, and of course the Paul Bearer word search, where all the words you have to find are Kane! So I would like the teams to delve into this week's edition of the paper and tell me what headlines, articles, advertisements and classifieds they can find. So it's a free-for-all round, anyone can jump in whenever they like. So the Wrestling Gazette, anything you've noticed this week, panel?
Go along to the puzzles, and you can actually sit and play a game of put Rey Mysterio's left knee back together.
A free
Reality
coloring
TV.
page for Jeff Hardy's face paint.
Reality TV show host, contestant even, seeks token black male.
A recall notice on a certain brand of mouthwash.
Sugar, spice, and nothing nice. What happens when you smoke the fake marijuana?
A Scott Hall puzzle. Proceed to take 4 shots of vodka and do a dot-to-dot of a wrestling ring.
Any more? Any more?
Obituaries. Unfortunately, Bison Smith's dead, which means obviously that Tatanka's got something to eat this winter.
Oh!
Oh, damn.
Boo!
How about how
Booker
about
T's Booker T's
Scott
article
Hall.
on WWE 12, the most
Well, okay.
realistic video game ever.
In the vein of what Mintzs said, Tatanka is wanted for homicide.
I was gonna say, Scott Hall's obituary, just, they just print it every week, just in case.
Right. Well, I think on the note of cannibalism, we should probably move on. Let's have a look at the scores after that round. Still ahead with 33 points are the Spice Boys, and still behind with 28 points are Boku no Epico. Let's move on to this week's TNA round, which is all about World War II. So, team captains, who are you sending out to war? Let's go to Punker first. Who are you sending out?
Trippy, is your mic working?
I think Trippy's
Yeah,
gone.
no, it is.
Okay,
It's
you're up.
Okay, Trippy is going out to war. Omega, who are you sending to take him on?
Well, once again, I'll bite the bullet and then aim it squarely at Orlando and myself. It's me.
Okay, long-winded way of getting there, but it's Omega versus Trippy. Okay, TNA is building up to Rude versus Styles at its next pay-per-view, Final Resolution, which of course has connotations to that event in World War II. TNA has always looked to the past for its storylines, and what better place to go than the war that shocked the world? So what if TNA and its great creative team booked World War II with all the swerves you could imagine? I should warn our teams this week that, once again, the TNA round does feature a -5 points. So if you do, we can have an ooh from the audience if they like. Some slightly aroused, some slightly disgusted. It's interesting. If they do say that answer, they will lose 5 points for their team. So that being said, let's go to Trippy first. What would happen if TNA booked World War II?
Well, I legitimately have no idea. I've gotten nah, I legitimately do not know anything about it because it's kind of hard to explain.
Do you want me to take it instead, Trippy, to help you out?
You can. They're tagging out. Okay, Punker, go ahead. You can take it. Go ahead, man. Or woman.
Okay,
sorry.
and natural. The first thing coming to mind though is that natural Italian nature of the Italy would have later tagged out against the Axis and sided with the Allies, headed by the grandfather of Vince Russo. Yeah, this is a really creative one, so this is kind of hard to come up with.
I like Manic Misanthrope's suggestion.
I don't know if we can say that on radio.
I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't be able to say that on radio.
No,
even
I am
with
not
the
going to say
explicit
that.
tag.
I'm not
I
going to say
did actually say earlier that there was a joke that I was going to include in the script that I didn't want to put in, and I said if anyone said the joke that I didn't want to put in, they would get 5 points. And surprisingly, that is the joke that I didn't want to put in. So you can have the 5 points, Mike, for the audience.
Oh yeah, the kamikaze would have barely happened because they would have like botched the nosedive into Pearl Harbor.
Is there a sound for the 5 points?
There was a sound, but I haven't got it on me at the moment, so it's very sad. I think this round is just displaying how little people know about World War II, but we'll go over to
I'm
Omega.
ready.
It's just
Omega's
too long
ready.
of a spectrum. I'll just tag it over to Omega.
Omega, okay. Try and save this round, my friend. TNA booking World War II. Go for it.
Well, I think first of all, the classic D-Day on the shores. First of all, it would be a reverse D-Day where the first team to actually jump into the entire team to jump into the ocean would be the winners of the war. And then, well, let's see. You know, we had all the Japanese. You know, they would. Well, their role would pretty much be the same because they would be brought in and then not really do anything, and then get future endeavored, and they would basically just bomb. And,
Ouch.
I would say probably the most important thing is that Mr. Adolf Hitler, the man who more or less was just the central figure of the war, he would have nothing to do with it because, as we all know, Hitler, he was actually kind of competent at doing what he did, and we can't have that on TNA now, can we?
Okay, well that went pretty well. I will just say that the -5 points answer was anything involving jobbers in gas chambers. Which would have resulted in you, resulted in you hearing this noise.
What the hell?
What was that?
So, at the end of that round, let's have a look.
Wait a minute. You're telling me you would have used that and tell me he did not just say that.
Damn it, I just had an idea and now it's too late.
Okay, let's have a look at the final scores.
Oh god, you know what? I just trying to get more points for the audience. Russo in a bunker shooting himself.
Alright, you can have 1 point, audience. There you go. 1 point.
Why do you think it goes through the unimportant part of the brain and he survives?
Can we see the 5.1 at the end of the show?
Yes, I will
I
find
know
that
it.
for
The
you.
death guns were actually juice bars.
Oh, damn.
Oh, God. Okay.
Let's move on before bad things happen.
Yes, let's do that. With 31 points, slightly behind, are Boku no Epico. Good God, pick an easier name next week. And Team A
Food
in
stamp
the
tattooists.
Team A in the lead with 40 are the Spice Boys. Okay, let's hopefully move on to a more sane round, which this week is the Pass the Buck round. This week, the Pass the Buck round makes its triumphant return with the categories round, which we did on the very first show. In this round, we give the panel a category, and each member must say a word, wrestler, or phrase that fits the category provided. Any hesitation, repetition, or deviation will result in them being eliminated. The last person standing will win 5 points for their team. Okay, so the order of play will be Omega first, followed by Punker, then DoctorDuckTape, Trippy, NotRico, and then Mintzs. Okay, so let's start off. Omega, your first category is wrestlers beginning with R. So wrestlers beginning with R.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
FCW, so yes.
Punker, you're next.
Rico.
Raven.
Randy Orton.
Fuck.
Oh dear. Okay, that's not Rico gone. Okay, let's move on to our next one. Loads of wrestlers beginning with R, but it was an easy elimination. Okay, things Brodus Clay and Jonah Hill were up to. Let's start off with Mintzs this time. Mintzs. Things Brodus Clay and Jonah Hill were up to this Monday.
Try to find Brodus Clay's muffler.
Doing a Zumba tape.
Smoking all of Snoop Dogg's weed.
recording their new album, Shiro Out Loud.
Fuck, never mind. It's just shit. I can't say.
It was a fair attempt, Trippy, though.
It wasn't really. I just didn't know which one I hit it.
Well, I'm trying to give you credit, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to put you over. That's all. Okay. I'm just trying to remember who's eliminated.
4 and 5 going Trippy.
There we go.
Mintzs
We're
is
going
next
Trippy.
again.
Okay, Mintzs is next again as we go into our third category, which is stipulations. Stipulations, Mintzs, if you'd like to start us off.
Any stipulation?
Any stipulation.
Loser leaves town.
Submissions only.
I quit.
We're gonna pull a match.
3 stages of hell.
No disqualification.
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Tables match. Does that count as tables, ladders, and chairs? I don't
No,
know.
it doesn't. That's a specific one.
Oh well then, we'll reuse that. Chairs match.
Ladder match.
Singapore cannon pole match.
Inferno match.
False count anywhere.
If Goldust wins, then Terry has to become Brian Pillman's manager for a month.
Submissions count anywhere.
Empty arena match, aka a TNA house show.
Is it me?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Keller from hell.
Strap match.
Special guest referee is a little kid.
Pillow fight match.
Texas Bull Rock match.
Thanksgiving Gravy Bowl match.
Finishers only.
Bikini bra match thing. Ah, damn it.
Cage match.
I'm gonna have to. It was going on for a long time there, but I have to take it off from DoctorDuckTape getting bra and panties match wrong.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know, it's terrible. Steve's Omega on his own take on Punk and Mintzs. Okay,
Can he overcome the odds?
Can he overcome the odds?
You know, I'm a
Omega's the
bit
John Cena of
disappointed
shoot
at the
promo.
fact that nobody mentioned the classic pinata on a pole match where the pinata actually stayed on the pole for about 17 seconds when the bell rang.
Swearface, there's a shop called Pinata near me. I've just realised it the other day.
Nobody mentioned the classic San Francisco 49ers match either.
That is very true.
I should have got the Belfast
Coal
Brawl
Miner's
match. Jesus
Glove.
Christ.
Coasted
Okay.
by Michael Cole.
A picture of Scott, a blow-up doll, and the world title is won by David Penzer.
Okay, let's go into our fourth category, which is Booker T-isms. I don't know who is. It'll be Punker to start us off.
It'll be me.
It's Mintzs again.
Oh, it's Mintzs again. Sorry, Mintzs, go ahead.
What the hell?
Oh, shucky ducky.
Is he gonna do it? No, he didn't do it.
5 time.
I put him in my fave 5.
Alright, I can't do it.
He's overcoming the odds.
He did that in
Okay.
a telephone booth.
So it comes down to this. It comes down to
With
Mintzs.
the greatest of ease.
Mintzs versus OmegaBR. Okay, and our final round is championship belts. Championship belts. Omega start us off this time.
ECW World Championship.
Quick question before we go any further. Can it be the same belt but a different variation?
No.
So it has to be a different belt, fine. AWA World Heavyweight.
TNA Television Championship.
TNA Tag Titles.
WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championship.
WCW World Tag Title.
Ice Ribbon Ice 60 Championship.
WCW Cruiserweight Tag Titles.
Intercontinental Championship.
Hardcore Championship.
European Championship.
WWF Cruiserweight Championship.
WWF Women's Tag Team Championship.
Gonna have to Pac-Man Mintzs because it was the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Cruiserweight Championship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty true.
On a technicality. On a technicality.
Minor
I'm
technicality.
afraid.
Ah, it always.
I'm afraid. Which means Omega does gain himself 5 points for his team. So let's have a look at the scores after this. Oh, Oh yes, of course, because the Pac-Mans take off points. That's a shame. So actually dropping a point with 30 now are Boku no Epico, and jumping into the lead with 48 points. Good God, an 18-point lead are the Spice Boys. Let's see if they can.
Don't worry, boys.
It's like
My right
1998
next.
all over again.
Let's see if they can
What is this,
make.
TNA?
Let's see if they can make this up with this week's pay-per-view round,
Red.
which is all about Zack Ryder. Yes.
Red.
Hello. Yes.
In March 2001, the World Wrestling Federation purchased WCW. Soon after, the invasion took place, in which the alliance was ultimately dismantled. Following Survivor Series 2001, the title was renamed the WWF Cruiserweight Championship, replacing the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship, because the WWF/WWE name change didn't happen to 2002.
Oh.
Ooh.
Screw you.
Restart the match.
Okay.
No,
Well,
restart the match.
in that case, Mintzs, I will award you 5 points because you actually had the balls to take me on. I'll award you 5 points because that was going to go on forever. So that means you're now on 35 points. Your team against 48. I think that's fair.
48?
I think that's fair. Take off their 40. Take them down to 43. No, that's not.
No, don't
okay.
worry. Go. Just...
All right. Pay-per-view round, guys, which this week is about Zack Ryder, which I believe, due to the swap out earlier, we have Trippy taking on DoctorDuckTape.
Yes, indeed.
So, this is this week's question. At Survivor Series this weekend, during the opening contest, Zack Ryder received deafening cheers, despite not actually being in the match. The former jobber has now risen to heights of beauty on Monday Night Raw and pay-per-views. It seems to be the new way to get a big star over. So that being said, why not take one of the more underrated wrestlers and give him his own web show? Who would you pick? What would the show be called? And what would it entail? Let's go to Trippy first. Getting an underrated wrestler over with a web show.
My mic is fucking up. Okay, there we go. Well, how about we have the McCurdy show and his Michael McCurdy's an amazing Michael McGillis and his amazing McGillis, but there we go. And it'll be Michael McCurdy just talking about absolutely fuck all for 5 minutes. It'll be the same subject over and over again because that's really all. What the fuck? I'm distracted by the chest. Sorry. Oh god damn it! No, I'm sorry.
I will give you an extra point, man, because it's your first time on the show, and it was a good attempt, I have to say. It's not easy.
Getting distracted by I'm sorry.
Were you getting distracted by the audience? Minus a point from the audience, then. Minus a point from the audience.
Being green.
Yes.
It's okay, Trippy. You did good.
It's good.
I blame Swerface.
Okay, let's go over to DoctorDuckTape. Your new web show.
Okay. AJ's hour of nerdiness, which we'll find out if it's really a gimmick or not. Basically, the show will just be the sad wrestling viewers sitting there watching AJ play video games horribly for 5 or 10 minutes while she talks to the camera about random stuff. Eventually she moves it on to more cliche hobbies such as comic books and Japanese animation, which we find out she is actually a Boku no Pico fangirl. Eventually the website gets many complaints about young people looking up Boku no Pico on the internet with complaints from their parents saying that's not PG. And that's all I've got for now.
Dear God, you are determined to get us taken off the air more than Swerve Faces.
This is why I food stamp tattooists instead.
That's the most sane thing you've ever suggested on this show. Let's have a look at the scores after that round. Ahead with 53 points are the Spice Boys, and trailing slightly behind are Boku no Epico as we move into our final round, spontaneous promotion, where the teams try and make up some final points before heading in to defend the indefensible. 2 members of each team will randomly select a wrestler, situation, and a wild card by using the letters A, to D. Bonus points will be given for good impressions or just mannerisms. You don't have to do a voice, but it always helps. And remaining in character as much as possible. This week, WWE 12 launched, and has been called one of the best wrestling games since Shoot Promo. That's nice, isn't it? WWE has always taken their pride in their video games, well, apart from Just Bring It and the first SmackDown vs. Raw. But apart from that, they've all been awesome. So as a dedication to all things video game, this week's wild cards all have something to do with video games. Is it a gimmick? Let's find out. So, team captains, who have you selected to be spontaneously promoted this week? Punker, who have you chosen?
It is going to be Mintzs and myself.
Mintzs and yourself. Okay. And if you're trying to get points that way, it's not going to work. Omega, who have you selected on your side?
Well, it's a matter of public record that I am just terrible at this round, so I'm going to have to go with my backup singers, DoctorDuckTape and NotRico.
DoctorDuckTape and NotRico. Okay, Punker, I will let you go first this week, as your team is trailing slightly behind, and you have free pick of the board. So what is your letter combination going to be for this week?
I am going to go with CAD because you are all cads.
CAD. Okay, you are Batista. You have recently won the WWE Championship. Your wildcard is that you are Jack Thompson, anti-video game lawyer, protesting the previous promos or the future promos that you assume will follow. So that's Batista, WWE Championship, as Jack Thompson protesting the preceding promos. So whenever you're ready.
Hello, Dave Batista, WWE Champion, anti-video game activist. Can you see what this has done to our children? Grand Theft Auto? They are not competing like real men. They are not cashing in their rematch clauses like we do. They are throwing basketballs at each other when basketballs should not be holding grudges whatsoever. Our kids are doomed unless they do otherwise, so please, act against us. And you too can be the champions of the world. Yeah!
I walk for miles inside
this bit of danger.
I will give you a bonus 2 points for that, for the yeah at the end of that. That was epic, or Epico, I believe.
Indeed.
Okay, let's go to DoctorDuckTape. Your letter combination for this week.
Since I am, well, BBC. Go for BBC. Why not?
BBC.
You stole my pun.
It's still his gimmick.
Okay, you are the Big Show. You've recently competed in a hardcore match involving flaming tables. However, you are an 8-year-old playing Call of Duty Online who is pooning to noobs until someone camp snipes you towards the end of your promo. So that's Big Show, hardcore match with flaming tables, pooning to noobs. So whenever you're ready, DoctorDuckTape.
Oh God. Can I get a whale in here? No. Okay.
Well.
Thank you.
Well.
Oh. You gotta give me a few minutes. I'm tired out. Putting those local noobs through the tables. With my elbow drop. People call me the Big Slow. But at least I don't camp in corners. It's snipe people. Call of Duty 4. Oh God, I think I'm having a heart attack. Okay, I'm ready to do my promo now. Okay, well, as you just seen, I put this local noob through a table. I challenged him to a flaming table match because when I was playing Rust on Call of Duty, he sniped me from the corner of the map just as I spawned. And that is not okay. That is not okay. But I was nuke boosting for my weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. So I went round to his house and I knocked him out and dragged him to the WWE arena where I put him through a flaming table. And now he's going to go back to his mummy because he is 12 years old, as all of the Call of Duty players are, crying about how the big man knocked him out. And all I have to say is, well, cry some more. There you go. That's all I've got.
I did like how Big Show went slightly Italian in the middle of that promo.
I'm not very good with accents. What can I say?
No, it's good. It's good. We like random accents. That's how we end up with Jamaican Mr. Freeze. So Cobra, Italian Big Show. Make an image out of that. Okay, let's go to Mintzs. Your letter combination for this week.
What is it, ACB or something?
I have the ones available.
ACB.
Yep, that's available.
B works for me. Okay, you are Rey Mysterio. You are trying to explain to Brodus Clay why he isn't debuting next week. However, you are the latest Sony game hero, or heroine I should say, which is essentially a big-breasted action woman cutting a saucy but dangerous promo. So Rey Mysterio explain to Brodus Clay why he isn't debuting as a big-breasted, saucy but dangerous woman. In your own time.
Hey, homie. Would you like to touch my left knee? I take you out. I show you good time. Just letting you know, homie. Not this week. I'll postpone it till next week. Maybe you can touch it then. Maybe I'll let you fly off the top rope to me. Come on. I'm the fastest in all of Mexico.
Wow.
That was like Speedy Gonzalez porn.
I swear I was wearing clothes before he started to do that promo.
Yeah.
Well, I think I gotta go take a shower.
Yeah.
Bring
Okay.
back the Matt Hardy snail trail.
Right.
Oh dear God.
Unfortunately, not Rico. That leaves you with this week's slim pickings. Are you ready to promo?
I am ready to shoot some promos.
Okay. You are Randy Savage. You have just been betrayed by your former partner, Rey Mysterio, for reasons that I'll let you work out yourself. And you are a generic action game character in a generic action game trailer. So, Randy Savage, betrayed by Rey Mysterio, whatever way you want after that promo. And you're a generic action game character. So whenever you are ready, take it away, not Rico.
Oh yeah, well, I am Randy Savage and I shoot aliens because they invade the Earth. But I used to have a partner called Rey Mysterious. He was quite mysterious, as some people are in this grim world where there are no colours. You don't want to know what he did. He shot me. I'm gonna get back at him. Well, I know his weak spot. His left knee. Oh, yeah.
I really wish that you could do the Savage. Oh yeah.
Well, he's a generic character.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
Generic
everyone is complaining about that, but I'm gonna give him a bonus 2 points because he actually realised that he was playing a generic action character, which means no emotion whatsoever. So,
It's like an NES game.
So you know, I should minus points from the audience there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be nice. So let's have a look at this week's final scores. Well, I think we've got a new record here in terms of highest score ever, with 65 points. This week's winners, if you want to be their lovers, it's the Spice Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
They called us jobbers.
As if there was any doubt.
65 to
How
what?
bad was our score then?
With 48 points were Boku no Epico. So
I'll take it.
It was pretty good there. Not bad. Not the biggest gap we've had, but then again, not the smallest. But it's not over yet because, of course, we have to go to our very final round, which is Defend the Indefensible, where we find out who is the true champion of Shoot Promo within this week's winning team of the Spice Boys. The team captain will assign both himself and his teammates with a letter A, B, or C. Each letter corresponds to a statement that no wrestling fan could possibly defend, but they will have to for 30 seconds. The person that defends the statement the best will be this week's winner. The players will be judged by their defeated team of Boku no Epico. I still can't say the name. The person that they will then send me their votes. If there's a tie, I will cast a deciding vote. So, Omega, who are you assigning what letter this week?
Not Rico can be A, I will be B, and Dr. DuckTape can be C.
Okay, Rico, Dr. DuckTape, and Omega. Okay, right. Okay, so in that case, not Rico, are you ready?
I believe so.
Okay, your statement to defend is, with Sin Cara injured, now is the best time to bring out a pink Sin Cara called Bocce Bocce. Your time starts now.
Well, I think that the pink Sin Cara named Bocce 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 could serve as a advertisement for the internet series Botchamania, where each week he could purposely perform a botch, and then he'll say, "That will be on Botchamania." And he is eventually unmasked to be really Matthew. Unmasked. That was the longest 30 seconds I've ever experienced.
It's long to some, it's shorter to others. Okay, Omega, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, your statement to defend is, WWE should help revive their tag team division by hiring 2 actors to portray the Mario Brothers. Your time starts now.
Well, of course, kids love the Mario Brothers. You know, you have Mario and Luigi. They can do double teams like the Mushroom Stomp and the Hammer Throw. And, well, no, because Triple H might hate that. But, you know, they can pass out video games, a whole sponsorship deal. And most of all, you know, it's a diversity hire. Who doesn't like Italians on the show? Well, you know what I mean. And, hey, Nintendo. Everybody loves Nintendo.
Big Show might have.
Is it a gimmick?
Other...
Damn.
I mean, again, I'm just impressed that you knew who the Italians were this week. You didn't know Silvio Berlusconi was last week. Okay, and finally, Dr. DuckTape, are you ready?
Woo woo. You know it.
Okay, here we go. Your statement this week to defend is quite simply, Matt Hardy, Hall of Fame inductee for 2012. Your time starts now.
Oh, totally, man. Fat Hardy should totally be in the Hall of Fame 2012 because simply he modernized the tag team division in the WWF when he was tagging with his brother Jeff. Of course, he moved on to quite a successful single career where he became the best wrestler on Friday Night SmackDown. I think we can all agree. Plus, he had an awesome theme and can fight tornadoes. He became the ECW champion, which is, I must admit, a pretty impressive feat. Oh, there we go.
Good time, I'm afraid. Okay, so Punker, Trippy, and Mintzs, if you could send me your textual votes, and we'll see who this week's Shoot Promo champion is. Okay.
Spoiler, it's OmegaBR.
I've got one in.
Omega wins, lol.
Omega wins.
Gotta keep.
I'm still waiting for Mintzs and Trippy. They're probably long. Oh. And you just right click my
Trippy, right click, Red Reddington. Send.
Gotta keep Omega strong.
This could be interesting. Dum 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 dum. Oh, I should also say, sorry, the audience got 8 points this week again. So, okay,
well done,
interesting.
audience.
Well, for the first time ever, it's a 3-way tie.
Damn! Oh!
Which
So-
means the deciding vote
Say what?
is Reds.
So it's
Who
my
thinks-
deciding
Oh my
vote.
goodness.
So it's a good thing I was listening this week. I would have to say that this week's winner of Shoot Promo, I'm going to give it to DoctorDuckTape.
Yeah!
Yay!
Lol
The
building
boy
new
who
stars.
The
boy
Wow.
who dream has been.
He's
Lol
in
building new
box
stars.
85 right there, that Dr. Duct Tape. We're doing that DDT.
You. Thank you
The
very
boyhood
much.
dream has come true.
Good
The boyhood
job.
dream.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Don't forget, of course, if you want to get more involved with the show, you can always follow us on Twitter at Shoot Promo Show. You can like us on Facebook.com/Shoot Promo. Let us know what you think of the shows, as well as find out details on how to be part of our audience, which leads me to thank our teams, the Spice Boys, which were OmegaBR.
I call shenanigans.
Our new champion, DoctorDuckTape.
It's a pleasure to be here. I climbed the ladder. I made myself famous.
Not Rico.
It's over, much like Dr. Duct Tape.
And our other team, which I'm just going to say, don't Google them. It's Punker.
I've been in the danger zone, and it was Italy.
Trippy.
Seriously, just completely ignore Red and Google us.
And the always minty fresh Mintzs.
Oh, shucky Dr. Ducky Tape Quack.
I was your host, Red Reddington. Mintzs, stop the recording!